There's a body of knowledge out there about how to get from issues to actions, how to get from the questions that arise when you look at a problem through the lens of business, through the lens of marketing or operations or strategy, and how do you actually make change happen. And a lot of people worry about this issue. So there's ways to get from asking the questions to getting the right answers and to getting action. And so what we hope the students will learn is that there is a way to get from the questioning part, the thinking work, to the doing work. In the process of getting from issues to action, we can break the process down into steps, into stages. And for each of the stages, there's a set of tools that the students will be able to add to their toolkit. So we start with problem identification. What is the need for change? What is really the core issue? Who are the stakeholders, and how should we prioritize them and manage them? And they'll learn some skills for identifying a problem and coming up with a good problem statement summary. The next step is breaking the key question into smaller questions that are answerable. We'll use a tool called an issue tree to decompose the central question into answerable questions. We'll use a stage called work planning to create, work plans, the actual task and work streams, and organize them by the various members of a team. Then they have to do some analysis, and that's really the central area where they apply the analytical ideas and techniques from all of their other courses. But we teach some techniques about how to manage a team, how to manage a project, and how to keep things moving forward. Coming out the other end, how do you come up with good recommendations? How do you stress test them? How do you get out of the weeds analytically and get back to the key question and come up with creative, workable solutions? Then how do you sell it? How do you make the case to the decision makers, whether they're the funders for a new business, whether they're the chief executives, whether the customers or the suppliers? There are techniques and skills for making a case, for coming up with a good, well-structured, well-supported, logical recommendation, and also for communicating and delivering in a very persuasive way. And then, of course, action planning and implementation. So all along the way, there's actually skills that can be applied to a wide variety of problems, and in this course, the students will be introduced to that entire range of skills and techniques. One of the great things about ORT is its agility, its flexibility. So when we have conversations, as we've had over the years, about what the market needs, about what the best schools are doing, but also about what the opportunities for the students are and what is needed from the students, the time it takes for this school to recognize an opportunity or see a need for change and to be able to create some action and implement a new program is really quite impressive. It usually takes much longer for schools to be able to first recognize these opportunities and these needs and then create a solution and implement it. So it's actually, or does very, very well in being able to respond to the changing needs and the changing opportunities of the market. There's several things I like about this new MBA program. It's always been a good practical program. The ORT faculty are very connected to the practice of management. So they play a very important bridging role between the world of ideas and theory and the world of practice. But in this new design, you've got these very clear areas. There are the foundations that you get the core skills, the exposure to the ideas and the skills of the various disciplines and functions: marketing, finance, accounting, operations, strategy, organization, and so forth. Then there's also an integration through the business plan process and other courses, an integration of the pieces to make sure that they all work together, that the students can apply them in an integrated way, which is the way they appear in the real world. But then there's also this track that includes the quantitative analysis course that they've just had, this new course that we're about to launch on problem solving, and the rest of this parallel track, getting them the craft skills, the actual practice skills of business, so that they can apply them and apply these ideas and skills in the way that they occur in business. So it's a very nice combination, a very well-balanced combination of theory and practice, of thinking and doing, of the individual pieces and the integrated whole. It's really quite unique, and I think it's a very powerful program. Well, I've had the privilege of coming here to Montevideo now for about 9 years, and so I've been exposed to quite a few different cohorts of MBAs over the years, and I always enjoy coming here. It's always a very engaging atmosphere. You've got students who have a real sense of purpose. These are people who work hard during the day. They've got important professional commitments, and yet they also put in a great deal of time and effort and thought into their studies. And so it's always worthwhile for me and for any faculty member when you are working with a room of students who are very engaged and are very intent on getting a lot out of the course. I hear from the students again after they graduate, and we keep in touch through LinkedIn and so forth. And so I see and hear a continual progression. They create new opportunities and new businesses. They seem to do well professionally. So it's an enjoyable environment in which to teach, but also it's a rewarding one because I see the impact, I see the engagement, I see the commitment, and I see the progress. It's quite a good group. It's a very sharp group, and they seem to make good use of what they get out of their degree here.